big breaking news because the New York Yankees, guess what? They've made another trade, and this one is a big one for Frankie Montas and Lou Trivino from the Houston, well, not the Houston, from the Oakland A's. Mine's going crazy in trade stuff. Everything's happening. I got my phone up. I got my laptop up. I'm refreshing Twitter every 5 seconds. I'm losing my mind. But the Yankees, they've acquired Frankie Montas and Lou Trivino from the Oakland A's for J.P. Sears, Ken Waldichuk, Luis Medina, and Bowman. I forget what his first name is, but he is kind of like the throw-in of the deal out of the other three guys. So we'll focus on the other three guys that the A's got. But yeah, it's a big deal. So we're going to get straight into it here, right here on Bleacher Brawls. My name is Derek, and I'm here at Barnes. So let's dive straight into this trade as the Yankees acquire Frankie Montas. It's a big deal. Montas, obviously a great starting pitcher. The Yankees do have to part with some good prospects. They're all pitching prospects. But if you're the Yankees, you're going for a World Series this year. And that's the plan. You're going to win a World Series, and you're willing to get part ways. And they didn't have to part ways with any of their top two shortstops, and especially Peraza was rumored, but they didn't have to part ways with him. We'll go to Barnes first. Thoughts on this deal?
Oh, I love the trade. I loved I said it in an earlier video podcast episode. Sorry if I'm sounding a little under the weather, coming over sickness, but Yankees need to go get arms. And what do the Yankees do? They got two arms from the Oakland A's. They got Frankie Montas and Lou Trivino. I love it. You're losing JP Sears is one of those guys, which really stinks. Waldichuk, which stinks. But hey, you're still waiting for Waldichuk to really prove himself. He's one of those asset guys. But we know what Montas can do. We know what Trivino can do and offer to the team.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Yankees on MLB Pipeline, which is not the greatest source for prospects because they don't update them during the season. But I'll just read them off of there because I don't have access to Baseball America. Ken Waldichuk is the fifth-ranked prospect. Luis Medina is number 10 in the system. So that's a number 5, number 10 prospect. And then also add in J.P. Sears, who has had some big league experience this year. He's the number 20 ranked prospect. And Cooper Bowman is a 21st ranked prospect, a second baseman. He's the only position player going in this trade. But he's less of a piece than the other guys involved in this trade, at least in my opinion. The big names are Waldichuk, Waldichuk and Medina, and then Sears is more the MLB ready guy out of all of them, and then Bowman's like the last piece add-on. But obviously, yeah, we know what you're getting. Yankees know what they're getting in Montas. They know what they're getting in Trivino. He should help the back end of the bullpen, especially with Chapman struggles, and Holmes has struggled a little bit as of late. So adding another piece like Trivino, and they did add Efros earlier in the day today. So they're trying to solidify that back in the bullpen, add in Montas to help out the rotation, especially with Severino's injury. That's very big for them. And they kept their three biggest pieces prospect-wise. They kept Volpe, they kept Peraza, they kept Dominguez. It's good business by the Yankees. And the A's, they knew they had to trade Montas now. His value is higher than what it will be next year now, even higher than what it would be this offseason. So you trade him now. And considering that the price for Luis Castillo is very high, I'd say the Yankees did well in this deal.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, the big thing right now is you're looking at the big piece, the major piece is Montas. Yankees have been obviously struggling with the starting pitching. A lot of fans wanted a starter. I wanted a starter. They got a starter, which is huge. And I think the big thing is right now the Yankees are playing the chess match with the Astros. You'll see it on Twitter, everyone pulling up the Montas versus Astros in Houston splits. He's 4-2 there. Ton of innings pitched. I think that's what the Yankees want, what the Yankees need, just to give them a little bit of boost of confidence. Montas, with that proven record against the Astros in Houston, playing them a ton while he was with Oakland, I think is huge for us. He's a strikeout type pitcher. He can also just get outs in different types of ways, featuring that double play ground ball. I think it's just a huge asset to the Yankees, really bolstering that off the starting rotation. Throw him in right behind Cole. So you got Cole and Montas back to back, and then you throw Cortez in that playoff trio.
Yeah, and then, it solves some problems too with the questions of Severino's injury. I actually think Severino could go to the bullpen in the playoffs just because It's a similar injury to one of the previous ones he had, and I know last time he missed like from this injury, he missed like a couple months, missed like 2 months. And that would put him right on the borderline of like middle September. Um, and you'd also have to look at building him back up if you want him to start. So I think kind of bullpen makes the most sense for him, and he would be a great piece in the bullpen. Don't get that wrong. He'd be a great piece in the bullpen. This isn't a bad thing that he would end up in the Yankees bullpen. For the Yankees, it's not a bad thing at all. Just getting him and if he's healthy for the playoffs is a big thing for them. I said it in our first Yankees video here. The Yankees have been lucky this season from injuries, and this isn't a discredit to the Yankees. This is not a discredit. It's the saying of you have to be good to be lucky and lucky to be good. That's what's happening with the Yankees this year. It's been the right mix. Everything's worked out for them. They haven't had any massive injuries. Now Severino, kind of, and then Stanton on the 10-day injured list. But there's no massive group of injuries where like half the team's getting injured, like my Red Sox. It's not happening. And it's been the right storm for the Yankees this year. And adding Montas is really going to help that and give. I think Montas is a very solid number 2 starter.
Yeah, you nailed it right on the head. It's a whole lot of the Yankees avoided the injury bug. The Red Sox had the injury bug. I think if the Red Sox don't have the injuries and the Yankees do have the injuries, we're looking at a role reversal here. Definitely 2 perennial ball clubs that are just experiencing a little bit of a difference, side of the coin on the injury bug, which is real shame. So yeah, the Yankees have been really lucky. And I said before, you got to push the chips in a little bit. They were able to hold on to Peraza, Volpe, Dominguez, which is huge, especially in a type of trade that's really going to push them over the hump because, next year, do they bring those guys up? Or, hey, do they try to make another last minute push on another player?
And I've also heard rumors of Peraza maybe getting some looks at shortstops in the big leagues as well this year, even before this year's done.
Absolutely. And, I really think that being able to get this deal done and not losing any, major pieces. Waldichuk is like a big piece. He's the 5th, like you said, he's the 5th overall prospect in the Yankees farm system. But keeping the 1, 2, and 3 and their positional players, that's humongous, especially in the offseason where you're like, hey, you know what? We can trade this young guy.
Yeah. It leaves options.
Yeah. I really just think that the trade was good for the Yankees all around. Good job. Way to get it done, Cashman.
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, I'll go over some of the process the Yankees are giving up. Ken Waldichuk, he has between AA and AAA this year, 17 starts, a 2.71 ERA. But the big thing, a lot of strikeouts, 116 strikeouts and 76 in the 3rd innings. Very good pitching prospect. And he's going to be a good fit for the A's. They just need prospects. Luis Medina this year in AA at 3.38 ERA in 17 games. In 17 starts. That's very good. Just like Waldichuk. Waldichuk is a step above Medina, but Medina's still having himself a good year in AA. Look at JP Sears. Sears this year in AAA in 11 games, 9 of them starts, a 1.67 ERA. And in the big leagues, 7 appearances, 2 of them starts, a 2.05 ERA. Sears has been good. I would expect him to be on Oakland's MLB roster straight away. And then Bowman, the second baseman, added on to the deal. 2.17 in high A this year. Not the greatest year for him, but he does have 35 stolen bases. And he's drawn 55 walks in 80 games. So I think there's maybe Oakland can figure something out with them. Maybe you can hopefully get at least a role player in the big leagues at someday with them. But he's not the main piece. The 3 big pieces are Waldichuk, Medina, and Sears. And I'd say both teams. This is a good trade for both teams. Let's be honest. Yankees, you love them getting. If you're from a Yankees fan, you love them getting Montas. You love them getting Trivino. And if you're an A's fan, you can be very happy with this return. I think it's a good deal all around.
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually seen Medina pitch for the Somerset Patriots, which is the Yankees AA team. He's got good stuff. He's a young guy. He's I want to say 22 or 23 years old. Tons of upside there. JP Sears has been great. It was funny because I was sitting there by myself the other day and I was like, how come JP Sears isn't getting featured in the bullpen? How come he's not coming out and playing these games? I guess they were trying to save him a little bit for this trade, or a move, maybe not this one, but any move possible. So You know what? A's, you're getting some pretty good guys. Obviously, we're getting, the best piece in the trade because he's obviously going to be a huge contributor. But A's definitely also got some good pieces there. Ton to work with, and seeing what the A's have done with their farm system guys, they actually bring up a bunch of good guys. So good on them. Good on everyone here.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of a great place to wrap it up. It's a good move for both sides, and I think both sides will be happy with what they got. And I think both fan bases can say, you know what, we like this deal from our perspective and where our organizations are at this moment in time. But that's going to wrap this one up. Thanks for tuning into Bleacher Brawls. Make sure to check out all the links in the description, the Bleacher Brawls website, podcast, Instagram, and Twitter, plus all the crew's Twitters. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell because we will keep you updated on all this news coming around trade deadline season. Um, this is our third video of the day today on the deadline, plus another scheduled video. So it's a big day, putting out a lot of content. So make sure to keep updated with it. For Barnes, I'm Derek. Thanks for tuning into Bleach Brawls, and we'll see you next time.